Bed Bath & Beyond, Ford, HBO. They're some of the most recognizable brands, but right now they're taking a beating, looking at financial downturn and instituting layoffs. This is even happening at Peloton, one of the companies that was not at all hurt by the pandemic. As stationary cyclists turned to their products in droves when they weren't allowed to work out at the gym. This year's financial outlook is changing for many companies, and of course, as a result, it's changing for workers at well, that means we are turning once again to our workplace guru for insight. Kimberly Steiner-Murphy, Senior Regional Vice President for Robert Half, a specialized talent and business consulting firm. Good morning.
Good morning.
In July, the country saw a complete restoration of all the jobs lost during the height of the pandemic, according to the U.S. Department of Labor. And now layoffs are hitting some pretty big names. Wayfair, Snap. What is happening here?
Well, I think I'm not an economist for one, but I think what's super interesting is although we're seeing and hearing layoffs, we're not seeing any job market change at all. We're seeing unemployment continue to drop. Sacramento dropped to 3.3%, lower than the national average. So I think it's just an interesting market. And I think we're seeing companies that perhaps, weren't financially stable pre-pandemic. Whether or not they had an influx during the pandemic, you still have to make changes and make sure that you're financially stable as a company. Otherwise, things change post-pandemic. Mm-hmm. And it's just an interesting time right now. We still have 2 jobs for every 1 person. So I don't know how much this will affect us.
Last month, your company, Robert Half, shared some very rosy news from your latest State of U.S. hiring survey that 46% of employers said they plan to hire staff during the rest of this year. But the literal other half of that equation is the roughly 54% of bosses out there who are saying we can't maintain the current size of our workforce. Does that seem to be affecting more national chains, really large enterprises versus smaller regional or state employers, depending on what you can see?
Yeah, I mean, from my perspective, what I would say is, companies that maybe haven't switched with the times, right? So if you look at maybe a retail organization that needed to move more swiftly online, or you look at, a company that didn't kind of progress with technology these days, I think that there could be some tough times ahead for them. However, there are lots of companies, especially in markets like Sacramento, that are small to mid-sized companies. Mm-hmm. And those companies are continuing to see growth, and they're continuing to be smart about hiring and retention.
For those of us still on the job, Robert Half has just surveyed workers and found 61% are going above and beyond their job description each day and pursuing opportunities to learn new skills. You call these folks high strivers. Now, is being a high striver, expanding your capability, is one way to sort of lay off proof your position?
Well, I think it's a very interesting time. If you're unsure on what your company is going to do, I think, one, you got to talk to your manager, but 2, if you think about, trying to be layoff proof, are you a high striver? Are you what we call a quiet quitter who's just, barely doing the job requirements? People get choices when there are layoffs, and, I'd like to be on the choice that's not getting laid off.
37% of the high strivers you talked about are currently looking or plan to look for a new role before the end of 2022. If half of employers out there are laying off who they have right now, the year could end with a lot of frustrated folks who had hoped to advance. That's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to watch what happens throughout the next, probably even several months, not just counting the rest of the year and next year. But I do think that companies will have to reconcile on where revenues are post-pandemic versus compensation and workforce and things like that. And so does that mean a shift in, worker confidence? I'm not sure. And I think part of the reason I say I'm not sure is we still have 2 jobs for every 1 person. So even if you're thinking, gosh, I'm not sure about my company, there's still plenty of options. We're seeing candidates with multiple offers today, and that hasn't changed for a very long time.
Everyone thinks about updating or circulating their resumes if layoffs seem to be on the horizon and they're not getting those 2 and 3 offers. So yes, that's obviously a thing, but regularly doing maybe self-promotion on social media or otherwise touting your accomplishments on completed projects can help, right? Really engaging your network.
Yeah, I think one of the key things in any professional career is, do you stay in contact with your network? Because we never know what happens in the world today. Like, none of us probably suspected a pandemic would ever happen. And so in those types of things, are you staying connected with the people you worked with 10 years ago, for people that you went to college with? Do they know your skill set? Do they know your background? You've got tools, with social media and LinkedIn and all of that, that really make it easy in today's world. But you can't discredit that that's not important. I think that's part of, not just learning new skills, but continuing to develop your network.
All righty, all important things we need to keep in mind as we look, as you mentioned, toward the rest of the year and into 2023. And as always, we look to you for this insight about what's happening in the job world. Thank you so much.
Thank you.